Perpetual is one of Australia's oldest financial institutions, with a proud history of helping Australians protect and manage their wealth through times of prosperity and adversity. Here are some of our defining moments, along with key events in our nation's history. The 1880s. Australia opens its first telephone exchange, and Ned Kelly is finally captured. In 1886, the Perpetual Trustee Company is established by a committee of 25 businessmen. One of the founding members is the Honourable Edmund Barton, who goes on to become Australia's first Prime Minister. The 1900s to 1920s. The Commonwealth of Australia is proclaimed, ANZAC is formed, and 320,000 Australians serve in the First World War. At Perpetual, funds under management steadily grow, and the company takes up residence to 39 Hunter Street. The office will remain Perpetual's headquarters for an incredible 90 years. The 1930s to 1950s. The Sydney Harbour Bridge opens. Australia supports the Allies in World War II. Television broadcasting begins. Australia sends troops to Korea, and Melbourne hosts the Olympics. Perpetual establishes regional offices in New South Wales. All staff are required to sign an obligation of secrecy book, a practice that continues until 1988, and a growing number of women join the workforce. Perpetual staff guidelines state girls must not at any time use the front lifts or staircases unless due to emergency. When the day's work is completed, there must be no loitering or talking around the office. And each girl must keep her typewriter clean. The 1960s. Decimal currency is introduced. The Beatles visit Down Under, and Australia fights in the Vietnam War. Perpetual Trustees Australia Limited lists on the stock exchange in 1964. The first computer is installed in the Sydney office, and the Perpetual Industrial Share Fund and Perpetual Mortgage Fund are established. The 1970s and 80s. The nation is buoyed when Australia too wins the 1983 America's Cup. The Australian dollar is floated, and Advance Australia Fair becomes the national anthem. Perpetual is thriving. 1986 marks the company's centenary year. Offices are now operating in Queensland, Victoria, South Australia and Western Australia. The 1990s. Compulsory superannuation is introduced, and the Australian Stock Exchange is floated as a public company. In 1994, Perpetual is restructured from a state-based group of companies to one national organisation with three distinct business units: personal trusts, corporate services and Perpetual investments. The Mobius is now used in the logo. The 2000s. The new millennium sees the introduction of the GST. Sydney hosts the Olympic Games. Australia joins the war on terror, and the global financial crisis hits. In 2005, Perpetual changes its company name to Perpetual Limited. The head office moves to Angel Place in Pitt Street, and Perpetual receives numerous honours, including 6 Fund Manager of the Year awards. The 2010s. The Australian government goes through a period of upheaval. Julia Gillard becomes the country's first female Prime Minister. And Cadel Evans becomes the first Australian to win the Tour de France. At Perpetual, Geoff Lloyd takes over as CEO in 2012. Under new leadership, the company embarks on a transformational chapter to simplify, refocus and grow the business. In 2014, we acquire the Trust Company, and the following year, we transition to the Lead and Grow strategy. As we look to the future, we draw on our rich history and are guided by our vision and values. We aspire to become Australia's largest and most trusted independent wealth manager. And we'll achieve this by staying true to our core values of excellence, integrity and partnership.